There's nothing better in life than an epic movie drum solo like this.
Wow. You're amazing, dude.
Thanks. I like to play.
Now, if you thought that was a badass epic movie drum solo, just wait until you see the movie Whiplash. Okay, let's talk about it. So what is this movie all about? Well, it stars Miles Teller, who plays a young musician who goes to this elite school for musicians, and his instructor, who's brutal by the way, and also funny and witty, but he's pretty much the pinnacle of what a dickhead is played by J.K. Simmons. Now, before we dive into the movie review, I first want to give you some backstory on how I came to see this movie. Now, this is a limited release film. Yeah, it took 2 months for my town to get this movie, and when it did finally come here, I seen it immediately, the first showing that they had, which was yesterday, and it was playing in a small art house theater. Yeah, it has one theater, and the chairs are from like 1981. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all of this is because I was desperately waiting and hoping that I could see this movie sooner than later, because I want to make a top 10 best of 2014, and I didn't feel like I could conclusively do so unless I seen Whiplash, which by the way, will have a very prominent spot in my top 10 best of 2014. Alright, let's talk about the movie Whiplash. Now, going into this movie, everyone was hyping this movie up to a level of greatness, and I was hoping to get that. Now, for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, I was trying to get into it. I was like, yeah, this is okay. There's Miles Teller being typical Miles Teller, playing like a young guy, and he's a little bit mumbly and down to earth. Okay, I see what's happening here. And then as soon as J.K. Simmons' character came on the screen, plays Fletcher, by the way, the instructor at this elite school for musicians, you're like, okay, now I understand why this movie's so amazing. Now, the character of Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons, is pretty much one of the most iconic assholes I've ever seen up on the big screen. But the thing that makes him so charismatic and likable is he gives off all these great comedic one-liners when he's trying to make his point. And I love movie characters like that, because when you combine asshole with witty one-liners, that's like the formula for success in my brain. And you know what? Thinking about J.K. Simmons playing an asshole in movies, he's not new to that. He's played an asshole in another movie called Spider-Man. Yeah, he played J. Jonah Jameson. Except Peter Parker had it way more easy than the character of Andrew played by Miles Teller in Whiplash, I assure you. And the thing about J.K. Simmons' character is the ends will always justify the means in this guy's mindset. And I kind of agree with things like that. Sometimes it takes brutal tactics to get the results that you want. But if you get the results you want, was it worth it? Well, that's questionable. And in this movie, that's one big question you have to ask yourself. Would you go through what this kid went through to be a better musician? Yeah, because throughout this movie, the character of Andrew, played by Miles Teller, goes through hell and back again. This guy earns everything that he gets in this movie. Like, he practices until his hands start bleeding, he's sweating profusely, it just looks like the guy wants to pass out. And watching him play the drums, I have a newfound respect for musicians, because that is something I don't think I could truly ever do. Like, maybe I could climb a mountain, maybe I could become a mathematician, maybe I could become an astronaut, but I could never play the drums. It just looks impossible to me. And by the way, on a quick side note, I think I'm kind of tone deaf. Like, I can't play instruments, I can barely sing songs. Yeah, my pitch is always off. The only thing I can do is kind of hum the theme to Indiana Jones. Here it goes. Dun 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 dun. That is it. That is the extent of my musical abilities. Okay, let's get back to Miles Teller. Now, I've never really been a huge fan of Miles Teller because he kind of plays that typical, mumbly, down-to-earth guy that you would maybe know in high school, but you wouldn't really hang out with him. Like, he's always there at the party, and you're like, hey man, what's up? But you don't really have an in-depth conversation with him. But after watching Miles Teller's performance in this movie, I kind of like him a little bit more as an actor. And by the way, a quick flick fact, Miles Teller in real life can actually play the drums. And I almost think that was a necessity for the actor that was going to play this role to be able to have that musical ability, because without it, there's no way that this movie would have worked. So yeah, as far as Miles Teller's acting ability in Whiplash, I thought he did a phenomenal job. I really don't have any complaints. He fit this role perfectly, and the same can be said with J.K. Simmons' performance as Fletcher in this movie. He was made for that role. When you have both of these characters on the same screen, it's riveting. There's this level of tension and hostility where you as a viewer, you can almost feel it. You have J.K. Simmons, and he's physically and mentally beating down this student to be a better drummer, and then you have Miles Teller's character who resents him every second of the movie for doing so. Yeah, at times throughout this movie, shit gets real. J.K. Simmons' character is throwing chairs, getting abusive, getting violent, but he also gets the results that he wants. So you gotta question the guy's methods. And speaking of that, it reminds me of someone else. Have you ever heard of Bobby Knight? Yeah, he was a coach for IU, the basketball team. He used to throw chairs on the court, cuss, but he was a pretty good coach. So the movie Whiplash, it's one of the most phenomenal movies I've seen all year. I enjoyed every single second of this movie. It's just very intriguing to watch, and J.K. Simmons' character Fletcher is probably one of my favorite characters of all time in any movie. And by the way, by the end of this movie, the climax is epic, it's badass. It's not some $300 million battle sequence with CGI effects. It's simplistic, but it's intense all at the same time. Yeah, it makes your arms feel tired and you're just like, I need to go get something to drink or I'm going to pass out now. So I'm going to give the movie Whiplash an A+. Yeah, that was me playing the drums. Yeah, this is a phenomenal movie. Go see this movie as soon as you possibly can. One of the best movies of the year by far, and one of the best movies I've seen in a very, very long time. So guys, that's my take on the movie Whiplash. Now here's my question to you. Let me know down below. If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts on it down below. Or, what is your favorite movie character asshole of all time? Now, I enjoy J.K. Simmons' performance in this movie, but if I had to pick my favorite of all time, I might go with the character of Johnny from the Karate Kid. Sweep the leg, Johnny. Yes, sensei. Cobra Kai for life. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts, your opinions down below, and I'll see you next time.